Hello everyone and welcome back to Global TC. We are here at Watkins Glen for our 6th event of the season. I hope you all enjoyed the winter break. I hope you all had a lovely festive period. But we are back in the new year for some more racing. Starting, of course, as I mentioned, at the Watkins Glen racetrack in the United States of America. We have got 3 very exciting races on our way for you. So get strapped in and let's go racing. Here we have our starting grid. It's Carlo Durante and Andre Jamil on the front row for Alfa Romeo, with Jonathan Mills and Matt Pulio making up the second row of the grid. Adam Liu and Adrian Tisci behind them, with Lewis Francis and Dylan Varstenberg the row back. Then it's Jordan Fingal ahead of Preston Brennan, ahead of Tyler Davison and Vishay Shah, followed by Daniel Solon, Ben Driscoll, Scott Sandover next up, with Liam Jones behind him. Final few positions on the grid go to Adam Richardson, Albert Asante, and Championship leader Kieran Kevin brings up the back of the field. We are ready to go racing then, and we are racing for the first time here today at Watkins Glen. It's a good start from the Alfa Romeos, who immediately pull clear as they head towards the first turn. Will it be Jamil or Durante that lead into turn 1 though? It looks like it's going to be Durante holding the pole position, lead into turn 1 ahead of his teammate. Then we have Jonathan Mills, Adam Liu already up into 4th place there. The top 4 drivers all on softs here, and Matt Pulio on the hards. Most of the field though choosing mediums for race 1. We then see it's Adrian Tisci just behind there, with Varstenberg side by side with Francis as they come up through the S's for the first time here today. We see Fingal slotting in just behind the pair of them as well. He's looking to make some moves forward, pressuring the back of Francis at the moment, trying to get involved in this little battle, but it's hard to go 3 wide into the bus stop chicane as they make their way through there. For the first time here today, it's Tisci trying to make the move on Pulio, not quite able to do it this time though. Behind them, Varstenberg has got ahead of Francis. Davison also now trying to make the move on Francis as they go through the carousel for the first time today. Now heading their way down into the boot of the circuit. We see there that is Tisci pressuring the back of the Ford ahead of him, the Canadian and the American doing battle here in what is our American venue for this season. At the front of the field though is Carlo Durante, still ahead of Andre Jamil and Jonathan Mills, 3 drivers who have had not the best season so far. However, with wins to their names, we see them up at the front of the field doing battle so far in this one. All on soft tyres. Expect to see those 3 your contenders for victory. Adam Liu as well though on soft tyres could get in the mix as we look into the middle of the pack. We have there, that is Adrian Tisci trying still to get past Pulio, going down the inside. Can he do it? They're side by side. The Ford, will it get the better traction? It does on corner exit. He holds on to that position for now. But with every corner that goes by, it's looking like it's going to be Adrian Tisci who has the advantage in these early stages. Medium tyres, 2 hard tyres there. As we look back to the front at the end of lap 1, it is going to be Durante who leads lap 1 here for Alfa Romeo, currently in Alfa Romeo 1-2. But the Honda of Jonathan Mills is hot on their heels in the early stages here. So we now look back to that battle for 5th position. It is Adrian Tisci. He is on mediums, don't forget. Ahead of him, Matt Pulio on the hard tyres, taking the pain early on, hoping perhaps to get some reward later on in races 2 or 3. As we see side-by-side racing as Tisci goes for the send down the inside into the bus stop. Can he get the move done this time? Very similar situation to lap 1. Pulio with the racing line does just hold on there, but now with the inside heading into the carousel. Tisci with that line that he really wants to have. He gets the position, and Varstenberg trying to follow him through there as they head now back down towards the boot of the circuit. We see side-by-side racing. Pulio trying to hold on to this position on those hard tyres, but Varstenberg is going to go all the way around the outside. We do have slightly harder tyres for this round and the rest of the season compared to the earlier events we had this season, so that could be a factor in some of these races. The hards may be worse than what we used to hear. Daniel Solon started this race on the softs, the 5th of the 5 drivers who are on soft tyres for this race. Started all the way down in 13th place, already up into 7th though on those soft compound tyres, making some moves, trying to get up the order early on here. Varstenberg just ahead of him at the moment though, as we see them break in to the heel of the boot, and it looks like Solon not quite able to make the move just yet, but you can see clearly with the speed on those soft tyres, trying to make his way up the order here. As we see, just a few moments later, we can see Solon down the inside into the penultimate corner. That's not somewhere you'd usually see an overtake, but that's not going to stop Solon. He's going for the move, and he is clear as they head through the final corner now. On lap 2 of 6, it is Solon up into 6th place. One more car separates him from the top 4 drivers that are all on those soft compound tyres, who he'll be aiming to reel in here in this race. As we see Tishy now is feeling the pressure from the Mitsubishi behind him. The Toyota trying to hold on here. Tishy with a strong qualifying effort, putting himself up into a top position early on at least. But do those medium tyres have what it takes to fend off the Mitsubishi behind him? They're side by side into the bus stop chicane. We're going to see a lot of this today, I fear, as they make their way through there. All nice and clean though. Solon comfortably up into 5th position. Tishy drops back in to 6th place there. Vastenberg 7th as Matt Pulio leads a bit of a train here in that battle in the mid-pack. As we see now, Pulio has actually reeled back into Vastenberg. Vastenberg is on medium tyres, but perhaps having a mistake or a bad lap for him there has allowed Pulio to reel back in. And in the slipstream, can that Ford get back in the fight here? Can he fight back for that 7th position, which he lost earlier in the race? We can see Tishy not too far down the road here. Pulio pressuring the back of the Alfa Romeo. Can he make the move? He's going to go for it as they go into the chicane. He's down the inside, but now with the inside line for the next 2 left-handers, it is Vastenberg, but now it flicks back to the right, but Vastenberg is clear. He's up into that position, holding off Pulio as we see side-by-side racing. That is Davison up in to 9th position ahead of Francis. They're trying to make his moves back on Davison, eyeing him up into this right-hand corner. Davison is on mediums, so is Francis, but they're side by side at the moment. The Subaru, that bright orange car, which is hard to miss, is losing out just a little bit there. As we see now, Davison looking at Pulio, trying to challenge for that move there, but look at that. Francis is fighting back. He's not giving up anytime soon. On those medium tyres, he manages to get that place back from Davison. Might he even have a look at Pulio? He's got the run on exit. He's got a much better exit, actually. The Subaru charging past the Ford with the slipstream from Vastenberg into the next braking zone. Can he make this move stick? He's going to brake later, but there you see Pulio sending it down the inside in that Ford. He may not have the tyres, but he's got the bravery as they come side by side out on exit, and they're still racing up the hill now, and it does look like Francis with the inside line at this point will get the move done. But Pulio trying to hang it around the outside, not going to find the grip he needs on those hard tyres. Dropping back a little bit as we see Jordan Fingal making his way through the field now. He's trying to get involved in this little battle with Adam Richardson just behind them, as we see them sliding their way through this part of the lap. We see here Pulio trying to make a move, but not able to at this point, as Davison now is back on the rear bumper of Matt Pulio just ahead. Pulio has been a cork in a bottle in this race so far. Davison down the inside, looks like he's going to get that move done. Side by side and exit though, the Ford gets good traction out of that corner, and now with the inside as they head steeply uphill into the next left-hander, and it looks as though just about Davison clear of Pulio and into 9th position. Jordan Fingal now the other American in the field along with Matt Pulio. He is now involved in this battle too, and trying to pressure the back of the Ford as we look back up to the front of the field. It is now the final lap of the race, and we've got a battle here for the win. Durante with a bit of a margin over Jamil, but right up behind Jamil in the slipstream we have Jonathan Mills. He is pressuring that Alfa Romeo hard. The Alfa Romeo perhaps a little bit harsher on its tyres. Jonathan Mills in the Honda trying to take advantage here, pushing as hard as he can. Can he get to the inside as they head into the bus stop? Not quite able to do it. Going to have to sit behind as they head through this chicane. But clearly the Honda has a bit of an advantage at this point. He's pressuring and pressuring and pressuring as they go through the carousel. Can he turn underneath him on corner exit? Jamil slides a bit wide. Mills gets underneath. Critical move there for Mills. Could he still win this race? He's up into 2nd place. Jamil, does he have the tyres to fight back? Not quite able to into the next corner. Jonathan Mills is up into 2nd position now, and now has his sights set on victory with Carlo Durante, the car between him and that win. Durante, though, with an Alfa Romeo which has looked good so far in this race, but he has had to push pretty hard. It's not been an easy race for anyone in this top three. They've all been pushing hard all race long. Perhaps they've damaged their tyres more than they would have liked to. Mills is pressuring Durante as they head towards the heel of the boot now. It is Jonathan Mills in the Honda versus Durante in the Alfa Romeo. They go into the braking zone now. Mills is going to send it to the inside. Bold move in the Honda, but the Alfa Romeo with the outside line gets the traction on corner exit, easily powers back ahead of the Honda and back into the lead of the race. Durante briefly lost it there, but he's gonna lead out of this sector of the lap and back on to the main part of the course. Durante is on course for a victory here unless Mills can do anything about it in the final two corners. Durante through the penultimate corner now. Alfa Romeo, it's not been the best of seasons so far for them. They do have a couple of wins to their names though. Durante with one of them winning race 2 at Le Mans, and as he comes around the final corner for the final time, Carlo Durante is going to add another win to his tally. He's going to win race 1 at Watkins Glen. Alfa Romeo on top. It's a 1-3 for them with Jonathan Mills taking second place there right at the end. Adam Liu there in 4th place, coming through the final couple of corners now, not quite able to match the very hot pace of the top few drivers. He's going to take 4th place here, critical for his championship challenge. One of the drivers who so far this season has been a real title contender, led the championship after every round so far this season until the last event out at the Nordschleife where he went pointless. Behind him finishing is Daniel Solon, who charged his way from 13th to 5th. Then we have Adrian Tisci making his way around the final couple of corners here on his medium tyres, pretty much maximising the day. The top medium runner, that is really the best you can hope for in a race like this where the soft tyres were just that good. Behind him, Dylan Varstenberg adds more points to Alfa Romeo's tally there with a 7th place finish. Lewis Francis comes across the line in 8th ahead of Tyler Davison. Jordan Fingal next up ahead of Matt Pulio. Then it's Adam Richardson ahead of Scott Sandover, Preston Brennan and Benjamin Driscoll rounds out the points paying positions for race 1. So here we have our official results from race 1 at the Watkins Glen. It is Carlo Durante who takes victory for Alfa Romeo ahead of Jonathan Mills. Andre Jamil makes it a double podium for the Alfa Romeo team, with Adam Liu coming home in 4th position. Daniel Tolan takes 5th place there, the lowest of the soft tyre runners, but he did start 13th. Then it is Adrian Tisci, top of the mediums, Dylan Varstenberg and Lewis Francis rounding out the top 8 from race 1. Then it is Tyler Davison in 9th, Jordan Fingal, top American in this race at Watkins Glen, just ahead of the other American, Matt Pulio. Adam Richardson is in 12th place ahead of Scott Sandover. Preston Brennan 14th, 15th place goes to Ben Driscoll, the final points paying position that is. And just outside the points, Albert Asante, and just behind him it was Vishay Shah, Kieran Kevern and Liam Jones rounds out the finishing positions for race 1 here at Watkins Glen. Now it's time to look at the grid for race 2, and it's the race 1 results that set this grid. So it's Durante ahead of Mills on the front row with Jamil and Liu lining up on the second. Then we have Solon and Tisci on row 3 ahead of Varstenberg and Francis. Next up we have Davison and Fingal rounding out the top 10 on the grid, just ahead of Pulio and Richardson. Then it's Sandover and Brennan on the next row. We have Driscoll and Asante bringing up the back of the grid just ahead of Adam Richardson, Kieran Kevern and Liam Jones at the very back. So the cars are ready then to go racing here. And we're racing in race 2 here at Watkins Glen. It's a great start from Durante, immediately clear of Mills. Jamil getting up into 2nd place as well as Varstenberg making moves. As Francis down the inside from 8th on the grid. He's going to lead us out of turn 1. Incredible start from the Subaru driver on those soft tyres, taking advantage of them early there. Lewis Francis will lead us out of turn 1 ahead of Durante and Jamil. Then we see it's Varstenberg, another driver on soft compound tyres, trying to make his way through the field. He's already up into 3rd place. 3 Alfa Romeos all racing with each other as they come out of the S's there. Mills just behind them as they head their way down towards the bus stop chicane for the first time here in race 2. Francis is, well, just in a different postcode already out front. He leads them through the chicane side by side for 2nd. I'll make that 3rd though. Durante with a good little run into that corner. He holds on to 2nd position. Varstenberg up into 3rd. Now going to want to pressure his next teammate. as Jamil putting up a good fight though, as Vostenberg going to go all the way around the outside of the carousel, the banking in that corner helping him out, and he does get up into second place there. Critical on those soft compound tyres to get that move done. Only 4 drivers taking softs in this race, and they are Lewis Francis, Dylan Vostenberg, who you've seen quite a bit of already, Preston Brennan in the Mercedes, as well as Ben Driscoll down at the order in the BMW. Brennan there, you see him on your screen now, pressuring Jamil into this next corner. He sees a chance here at least a podium, if not a chance at victory in this race. He's in 4th place already, but he's got some big gaps to close in, as Lewis Francis already pulling a very large gap over the field, ahead of the rest of them then, as Vostenberg in 2nd place. Then it's Durante at the moment in 3rd, but can he hold on to it as Brennan sends one to the inside? We've seen already the Alfa Romeo though, gets good drive out of this corner, does again though, but the soft tyres on that Mercedes, will there be anything he can do to fight back against that as they come back up the hill? And you see them side by side, the Mercedes charges around the outside and up into the podium positions there. Vostenberg though, bit of a gap already to him. Going to be a hard race if Brennan wants to try and challenge those top 2 at the moment. Here we see Davison side by side with Driscoll. Driscoll making moves here in the early stages. The next driver on soft compound tyres behind the podium position drivers. But he's coming into the pits. He's got his indicators on. He's coming into the pits. And that is damage on lap 1 here for Ben Driscoll. Worst case scenario for the BMW driver. And Pulio is in as well, the American in his home race. In case you couldn't tell he was American from his livery, he is indeed American. He, in his own home race, is into the pits with damage here, as we see more racing down towards turn 1. Richardson side by side with Fingal. Fingal trying to go all the way around the outside. Can he get the move done though? That's the question, as they charge their way back up through the S's. Up at the front, Lewis Francis has been reeled in already by Vostenberg. Incredible pace from Vostenberg to get that gap down already. It's pretty impressive that he's managed to do that in just a lap. Could that be a sign that he could challenge for this race when he's looking for the move as they head into the bus stop? They're going to go side by side, are there? No, Francis covers him off. He just holds on as they head through this part of the lap. It is Francis still leading ahead of Vostenberg. Now let's have a look back at what happened to Ben Driscoll off this start. You see already a bit of contact with Brennan. That isn't where he got his damage though. That seems like he got away with that hit as he heads into the first corner. Pulio is now the car ahead. Could this explain both of their issues? And there we go. Bit deep on the brakes, a little bit of contact, and that will have damaged the front of Driscoll's BMW and the rear of Pulio's Ford there. That'll be where it went wrong for those 2 drivers. Now as we look back up towards the front of the field, we've got side-by-side racing. 2 drivers that were near each other for the majority of race 1, Durante and Jamil in the Alfa Romeos. Go side-by-side through the bus stop chicane, but Durante does hold on, carrying slightly more success ballast. Both drivers are on the medium compound of tyre. Jamil though, not gonna settle anytime soon. He's pushing once more to try and get this move done. Again, he gets alongside as they go through the bus stop, but that line is just not where you want to be if you're racing side by side. He couldn't keep it alongside. Solon now we see side by side with Liu. Liu taking hard tyres for this race compared to Solon, who is taking, well actually no, also taking hard tyres, so that is a straight fight between those two, both on hard compound tyres. As we look further back, we can see Richardson looks like he is challenging Fingal into this next corner, downhill quite steeply as they go through the corner. The car can bottom out a little bit if you carry a bit too much speed or your car is a bit too low to the ground as we make their way through that corner. He is up into 10th position as he gets past gets past Tishy as well. Can he get Davison as well? The Toyota ahead of him, as now we see Jonathan Mills trying to pressure the back of Jamil, but not quite able to do it yet as we now look back down to the back of the field in 18th place after pitting for damage. Ben Driscoll has reeled in the pack here and already is on the back of Vishay Shah, and that's a bold move. Well, I think Vishay Shah saw that one coming, to be honest. I don't think he saw much of a reason to fight that one. Ben Driscoll is up into 17th place already, and I don't think that will be the last move of his race here. Already up into 17th, we've seen how powerful the soft tyres can be here today. And, well, at this rate, Ben could still well get a great result here as he's down the inside of Kieran Kevern to get up into the top 16. Next position would be for the top 15 here. Of course, critical. The bare minimum Ben will be hoping for here is a top 10 to get him in the reverse grid, as he's going to go all the way around the outside of Liam Jones there. in the Mitsubishi. Scott Sandover is the next one up though as they head down towards the next corner, and already the drive from the BMW with those soft compound tyres is enough to pull him alongside and maybe even ahead of the Alfa Romeo as they head into the next corner. Driscoll up into 14th place. Next car on his list will be his BMW teammate in the form of Jordan Fingal. As we look a little bit further in front of them, we've got side-by-side racing here. This is just inside the top 10. Tishy versus Richardson. This is critical for both of these drivers' races. Both of them are saving their soft tyres for race 3 here. If they can get in the reverse grid and be on soft tyres, they've got a real shot at victory in the third race of the day. But critically, the one problem for the pair of them is whilst they may be battling for 10th at the moment, they have got Driscoll behind him, and Driscoll could well take their positions from them and knocking them both out of the reverse grid. So really, if they want to think this one through, they need to try and focus on getting the next position up the road, which currently is held by Tyler Davison. But look at this now, Driscoll not been able to get past Fingal very quickly at all, and is actually now coming under threat from the two drivers he passed just moments earlier. Sandover trying to go all the way around the outside, free wide at Watkins Glen. Doesn't always end well there. Sandover does manage somehow to take the position away from Driscoll and get back up ahead of the BMW driver. Side-by-side racing now between Driscoll and Jones as they come through the S's. Driscoll, with those tyres, should have a comfortable advantage over the Mitsubishi though, as they now make their way back down towards the bus stop once again. Driscoll, his next aim again is, well, once again, Sandover, who is doing an incredible job really of staying ahead, as he's already not only going to stay ahead, he's trying to make a pass here on the BMW that Driscoll struggled to pass, couldn't get past quick enough, and that is now going to allow Sandover to have a go, but he's not quite able to pull off the move. Now we see that's Driscoll having another little look at the inside, but not quite able to do it once more, having some issues here, trying to get past the Alfa Romeo ahead of him, as we see there's Toyotas battling just up ahead. That's Asante battling away with his teammate. As now we look further up the road, we see Tyler Davison battling with Adam Liu. Davison perhaps realising that there could be a bit of a threat here from Ben Driscoll charging his way through the field. Currently sits 9th, so currently would be okay to get in the reverse grid, but Adam Richardson is quite close behind the Toyota, as we now see 3 wide here in to the toe of the boot, and it is Driscoll making those moves back up, finally gets past his BMW teammate, and after that brief little moment for him where he dropped back a position or two, he's now back on the charge into 13th place. He's in the points now, crucially, but now the reverse grid will be his aim, as we see that is Asante trying to battle with his teammate Tishy, both drivers with softs for race 3, as the majority of the field does have their softs for the final race of the day, so they all know that track position could be critical already at this stage, as Driscoll gets the moves done on both the Toyotas. Next up though, Richardson and Davison, who currently are doing battle as they head into the penultimate corner. Richardson, can he get that one done? No. Driscoll can though, he gets down the inside of the penultimate corner, but boxed in a little bit, could give Richardson a chance to fight back as they head into the final corner now. Driscoll trying to get these moves done as quickly as possible. There's just one more lap left after this one. He's running out of time. He's clearly got the speed, but he doesn't have the time here, as he now pressures the back of Davison down the main straight. Driscoll now crucially in the top 10 in the reverse grid. That is job done on that front, but still, this is soft tyre race. He wants to get as many points as possible. This is the race where you expect to get your big score, and at the moment it's not quite going that way for him. P10 is still a good result, of course, as I said, reverse grid, but every position he can get is crucial points in the championship for him, and he's right on the tail of Davison here as they head up through the S's and head down towards the bus stop chicane. That is an overtaking zone. It's a brave overtaking zone, but it is an overtaking zone here. He is pressuring right on the back of that Toyota. Can he get the move done? It's going to be tricky as they head into there now. He's got the inside line. You can see Richardson keeping an eye on it behind as he's trying to pass 2 cars. He does pass 2 cars. Ben Driscoll has just managed to pass not only Davison, but Liu as well into the bus stop chicane. As we now make our way back up the order, we look to the podium positions. Brennan running 3rd, Vastenberg running 2nd. Those 3 drivers at the front all on softs. Lewis Francis leads them. He is on the softs, of course, and is using them perfectly. It all happened on lap 1. It all happened in turn 1 for Lewis Francis. He went from 8th to 1st in the run to the first corner. Unbelievable stuff from the Subaru driver. Somehow he started 8th and managed to lead almost every corner of the race. Yeah, you know, you can decide whether he led turn one or not. He was side by side for the lead already at that point anyway. As he comes around the final corner for the final time here today in race 2, Lewis Francis is going to take his Subaru back to victory lane, and he does it at Watkins Glen. Lewis Francis takes victory there ahead of Dylan Varstenberg. Behind them, it's Preston Brennan going to bring up the final place on the podium for Mercedes. Not quite the challenge for the win that you would have been hoping for with his soft tyres, but still a podium is a strong result and good points for the championship there for the Mercedes driver. With a new wave of BOP for all of these cars at this event, which meant the balance of these cars' performance slightly different for this event. Mercedes, one of the cars that was seen as perhaps slightly underperforming so far this season, so they got a bit of a boost. They perhaps would have been hoping for more than just a podium from this event, but a podium is still good points for that team. Durante is going to back up his win in race 1 with a P4 in race 2 ahead of his Alfa Romeo teammate Andre Jamil, who he has managed to fend off in this one. Jonathan Mills comes home just behind the pair of them. Ben Driscoll finishes his charge in 7th place, so nearly up into 4th at the end there. Behind them it's Solon, Liu, Davison, Richardson, Tichy, Sandover, Asante and Jordan Fingal rounds out the points paying positions for race 2. So here we have our official results for the second race of the day here at Watkins Glen. Lewis Francis takes his second win of the season ahead of Dylan Varstenberg, who is on a real run of form at the moment after taking 2 podiums last time out at the Nordschleife. Behind them, Preston Brennan takes the podium for Mercedes just ahead of Carlo Durante, Andre Jamil, Jonathan Mills, Ben Driscoll with his entertaining race just ahead of Daniel Solon at the end there. Just outside the top 8 we have Adam Liu, then it's Tyler Davison critically getting that 10th position. That'll give him reverse grid pole for race 3. Behind them, just missing out, it's Adam Richardson, Adrian Tichy, Scott Sandover, Albert Asante and Jordan Fingal rounding out the points. Kieran Kevin just missing out on points, but basically all of these drivers you see on your screen, all with soft tyres for race 3. It's going to be an exciting one ahead of us, folks. As just missing out on the top 16, we had Liam Jones, Vishay Shah and Matt Pulio with that damage coming home last. Here we have our reverse grid race, then that puts Davison on pole ahead of Liu, then in this Solon, Driscoll, Mills and Jamil just ahead of our race 1 winner Durante, Brennan, Varstenberg, race 2 winner Francis. Just outside the top 10 was Richardson ahead of Tichy, Sandover, Asante, Fingal, Kevin, Jones, Shah and Pulio brings up the back of the field with many of those drivers towards the back on soft tyres. Here we have race 3 then, and we are racing for the final time here today, and it's an outstanding launch from Davison, who covers off any threat from anyone further down the field. He is on softs for this race, but still, remarkable start for him to comfortably lead into turn 1. Side by side for second, it's Driscoll, side by side with Solon. Solon there in the Mitsubishi trying to make some moves early on here, side by side with the BMW driver, as Liu has dropped back off the start, started second already down into 4th position at the moment. And we will now see the field perhaps become a bit of an accordion throughout this race, as whilst Davison is on the soft compound tyre, the entire mid-pack is an absolute mix of mediums, hards and soft tyres, so anything can happen here. Liu has made his way back up into 3rd place. Liu is on the medium tyres for this race after taking his hards in race 2. Mills there in the mid-pack just ahead of Varstenberg. Richardson is on the soft tyres. He's trying to make a move now as he tries to go around to the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Going to manage to clear him into the carousel. Critical for him as we look behind. We see Tichy trying to make a similar manoeuvre, and he does just that. He gets out of the Alfa Romeo as well. We see further down the field Lewis Francis, after winning race 2, already nearly dead last in this race. It's just not the situation you want to be in with hard tyres and maximum ballast. That's not a situation that the car will enjoy, or the driver for that matter. As we see now, that's Vishay Shah, another driver on the soft compound tyre, side by side with Albert Asante, both on the soft compound tyres. There, Kieran Kevin also on the soft tyres behind them there. We see Lewis Francis slipping back through the field at this stage, as we now see them make their way up the hill and now down towards the heel of the boot. It is side by side there. Well, it was side by side there for Mills and Tichy. Tichy makes that move as now we see Richardson trying to make another move up the order. He's on the back of Durante, and he's now past Durante, as despite the Alfa Romeo's strength in this part of the track, it would appear the soft tyres are enough to carry that VW past, and indeed they are, as now he's looking to try and go all the way around the outside of 2 Alfa Romeos here. He's going to get Jamil as well, up into 6th position. He is charging his way through. He does not want to let Tyler get too far ahead here. He thinks he's still got a chance though, but I say that, Jamil did fight back in that battle between between Richardson and him there. So keep an eye on that as now they see them go into the final corner. Richardson this time does get it done there in the Volkswagen. Behind him then, it is, of course, Jamil Asante right up behind him, though, as we see him using his soft tyres to the best of his abilities, pressuring the Alfa Romeo. Asante has been one of the most consistent drivers this season so far. It's why he's in the title fight. Only won last time out at the Nordschleife, despite being so high in the championship throughout the season so far. He's got the worst average qualifying of anyone in the field. The success ballast really hurting him in that front. The Toyota also one of the weaker cars in qualifying, but yet still he continuously manages to make his way to the front of the field and get results, and that is, well, why he's in the title fight, because at the end of the day, if you're at the front of the championship, you usually qualify slightly worse because of the success ballast, and it's about how you make your way through the field. And so far today, Asante once again putting another strong drive through the order, but ahead of him at the moment is another couple of soft tyre runners. Adam Richardson, of course, now looking for a move on Solon, as we see side-by-side racing. Asante a little bit out of control there as he entered the bus stop chicane. He gets up into 6th position, makes the move on Jamil. Just ahead of him now is Richardson, looking to try and make this move on Solon, but Solon a bit of a blockade at the moment for him, as we see Asante catching that gap right up as we see them looking into the boot of the circuit. And Richardson trying to go all the way around the outside. Asante blocked in on the inside there. Could Adam try and get up past 2 cars here? He's now on the back of the other Adam here. Adam Liu just ahead of Adam Richardson. These two have been 2 drivers that have been fairly consistently at the front of the championship so far this season, but like many of the things that have happened so far this season, that was the case until the Nordschleife, where that really changed everything. Those two not dropping too far down the order, but certainly wasn't the event they would have wanted to have had. As Asante now seen on the back of Solon. Solon looking like a hard car to pass so far in this one. Asante trying to get the move done. Can he get the move done here into this next corner? Not quite able to do so. Tishy now on the back of Jamil. As we see, look at this field file their way past. We've still got plenty of soft runners right down at the back of the field still. As you see Jordan Fingal side by side with Preston. Fingal is on the soft tyres and he's still down in 17th place. That's just because there's so many on soft here. Zandever, another on the soft compound tyre. Behind them, Pulio, also on the soft tyres. Ahead of them, Kevin, Jones. They're all on soft tyres, but they're all in the same boat. They're all rushing to try and get these moves done. And because they're all trying to make the move at the same time, they can't. It's they sort of almost have to queue up to get past everyone, and it's slowing them down at the end here. But we do see Jones trying to go all the way around the outside of a couple cars here at the final corner. He gets Mills for certain, going to try and get Durante as they head down the straight. Race 1 winner Durante, 4th place in race 2, having a strong event so far, but now on the hard compound tyres, going to be a tricky one for him here. Mills is another driver in that same boat on the hards for this race, as we see them battling their way through turn 1. Remarkable racing we're seeing here today, as we see Jones getting up into the top 10 positions. Kevin just behind. Then we see side-by-side racing behind them. It's Durante racing with Zandever. Durante and the upper Alfa Romeos. We really can't separate them so far here today. Zandever the latest to get into the mix there, as Pulio follows him through as they come up through the S's and down up towards the bus stop. Fingal just behind them there, trying to get some moves done. As we look back up towards the front, once more Asante still stuck behind Solon, not able to get the move done just yet. Vishay Shah now starting to pressure him as they head through the bus stop chicane. There we now see that's Adrian Tishy just behind the pair of them, trying to gain some ground and actually gain some positions here as he gets down the inside of Shah. But Shah, look at that, carrying momentum around the outside, going to try and fight back all the way around the outside of the carousel, going to get that position back on Tishy, might even get the position done on Asante, but it's going to be the same problem that everyone keeps having, is they just keep bumping into the back of the drivers that are on the mediums and hards. So here we see Shah with the inside line. You'd think that's where you'd want to be, but no, Solon in front blocks them both, and now it's going to go to the next corner where now Asante has the inside line critically. Tishy's going to get the move done as well here. Shah, can he carry the speed around the outside though? But critically again, we keep saying it, he's got a blockade in front of him. It is the Mitsubishi of Solon in front of him. That is what's holding him up there, and just as he thought he had a chance at fighting back, he finds himself up the rear end of another car there. As we see them battling once more here, still doing battle, perhaps unsurprisingly considering the way they've been going at it so far here today. The move done there by Albert on Adam. Side by side though, Liu trying to put up a fight here. Liu on the medium tyres, one of the drivers who used his hards in race 2, and well, is trying to take advantage of that to a certain extent here to try and keep himself as one of the top non-soft runners in this race. as we see them making their way through the final couple of corners now. There are 10 drivers on softs in this race. They are, quickly, whilst we're watching the racing, just quickly list them out for you. Matt Pulio, Adrian Tisci, Jordan Fingal, Tyler Davison, Vishay Shah, Scott Sandover, Liam Jones, Adam Richardson, Albert Asante, and Kieran Kevern. All of them on soft tyres in this race. In theory, the top 10 should all be softs by the end of it, but because there's so many, it's weirdly harder to overtake when you're in a situation like that. It's just, it's worse traffic, quite simply. It's like being on the roads in a normal road car. The traffic is just worse when you're in a situation like this, and everyone's all over the road, and it means that everyone ends up losing from it. Unless, of course, you're the likes of Adam Richardson and Tyler Davison, who are out front and running in clear air in this one. Asante up into third now, going to try and reel in the top two. Driscoll still holding on in that fourth position. Driscoll is on medium compound tyres. Just like Lee, Driscoll could end up being the top driver in this race, not on the soft compound tyres, purely just because he seems to be one of the hardest to pass. That, and also he started quite far up the field as well as Tisci, not quite able to make the move there, as we now see Jones and Kevern side by side. Tisci just ahead of the pair of them. Kevern now actually going to try and get Tisci as they go through the chicane. Now going to have the outside line for the carousel. Where will Driscoll put his car? That could be the factor in deciding this battle, as Kevern going to go all the way around the outside. Driscoll on the inside. Can he get Driscoll as well on corner exit? The BMW, though, proving very hard to pass. Kevern has got a bit of an overlap as they head into the next corner. He's got the inside line. Can he make the move, though? He can indeed. Driscoll forced a little bit high and wide, and that's going to let Tisci through as well. And looking again, it's blocking a car. It's blocking Jones this time, who gets stuck behind the BMW. That's going to allow Sandover to get alongside as they now make their way into the toe of the boot. Pulio the next to try and go around the outside, and Jones, after challenging for higher positions just a few moments ago, is the latest driver to find himself stuck behind a car on the medium or hard tyres and just sort of get stuck there and lose all the positions to the other soft runners who have the better track position there, as Pulio now up in a 2-7 position ahead of Driscoll. Those two drivers, of course, collided on lap 1 of race 2 and, well, not ruined both of their races, because of course Ben was able to recover, but certainly hurt both of their races quite a lot. Pulio will be pleased to get past Ben safely on this occasion as they make their way back up through into the final sector of the lap. Driscoll just ahead of the Mitsubishi of Liam Jones there. Liam Jones on the soft compound tyres, trying to make the move here. These two good friends off the track, on the track. Let's see how this goes. Jones trying to clear Driscoll, who was holding on so well, but now suddenly the cars are streaming past him. Vishay Shah will be the next one, hoping to do just that. But you can see now, behind Driscoll, we've got a little bit of a gap again, as we see that's caused by Liu, who is the next sort of cork in the bottle, just outside of the top 10, with a few drivers behind him, also on the soft compound tyres. Shah now pressuring the back of Driscoll. You can see there a little bit of a gap on the straight, but now breaking into the corner, you can just brake that a little bit later. You can carry that bit more speed through the corner, you accelerate quicker, and whilst at the actual top end speed, there might be no difference, regardless of the tyre compound. How quickly you get to that speed and how quickly you decelerate from that speed is the big difference. That is really where you make the overtakes in this. You sort of accelerate past them and you outbrake them, because if you're at the apex of the corner, there's not really anywhere else to go. In some of the corners, in fairness, there is, especially in the carousel, for example, where you've got that little bit of banking. Asante, meanwhile, actually has got up into second place past Richardson, so Toyota, or at least Asante's Toyota, charging here. Davison perhaps managing his tyres here, playing this one smart. Hasn't rocketed clear of the field. He is at the lead still, but despite starting on pole, Asante has reeled him in and is just probably maybe a couple seconds behind him now. And you'd think could challenge, but at the moment, Davison perhaps managing his pace a bit, or perhaps has a problem, one of the two. But either way, Davison, his lead isn't perhaps as big as you'd expect it to be at this stage here. Durante down in 15th, last points paying position at the moment. It would be going to him. As we look back up through the field, we see Jones there on his own, as it's all of a sudden got a little bit quieter in this race, as all the soft runners have got clear of the majority of the medium and hard runners, and we see them now making their way down this straight. And you can see, look how close they've got for the lead. Davison, if he does have anything saved up, he needs to use it now. If he's been protecting his tyres, he needs to stop doing that, well, if not now, very soon, because Asante is pushing hard to try and take his second win of the season. Davison also looking for his second win of the season, as is Richardson, just behind them, as is Kevern. You'll notice a pattern here. There's a lot of one-time winners in Global TC. As you now see Davison on the final lap here, having to defend once more from Asante, but Asante, whilst he may have been able to reel that gap and perhaps damage his tyres more, passing through the field and then catching that gap, and as Kevern's looking for a send there to try and take the final step of the podium, try and make it a Toyota 1-2-3 here. It is at 4 Toyotas in the top 5 at the moment, which is a remarkable effort, all of them of course saving their soft tyres for race 3, as many of the drivers that tend to start towards the back of the grid do. And Tyler Davison at the moment having an absolute blast in race 3, saved up his tyres, gave them hope, but now as soon as they reeled in, as soon as they posed a threat, he just put his foot down a little bit harder, and he's driven back away from them here as he makes his way around the final corner for the final time here. Race 3 at Watkins Glen is going to be Toyota domination. It's a 1-2 for the manufacturer, Tyler Davison. It's win number 2 for him in this season of Global TC, ahead of Albert Asante. Adam Richardson stops it being complete Toyota domination there with his podium. Behind him it's Kevern and Tishy. Sandover Pulio in 7th place, and it is Jones who is just about going to come across the line in 8th position, ahead of Vishay Shah in 10th position, and just fending off one of the soft tyre runners. We have managed to see it happen here. It is Ben Driscoll who is going to stay ahead of his teammate of all people on the soft tyres. Driscoll ahead of Fingal, then it is Liu, Solon and Andre Jamil there crossing the line. The final points paying position will go to Carlo Durante, winner of race 1, 4th place in race 2, 15th in race 3, but critically, it's still a point on the board, and every point matters in a series this close. So here we have our official race 3 results. It's Tyler Davison ahead of Albert Asante, leading once again a Toyota 1-2. We've said that a few times this season already. Adam Richardson completes the podium there just ahead of Kieran Kevern and Adrian Tishin. Again, an incredible result for the Toyota camp as they get 4 cars in the top 5. Remarkable stuff there. Alfa Romeo may have been strong early on, but they were never that good. As behind them we have Sandover in 6th ahead of Matt Pulio and Liam Jones. Vishay Shah in 9th place. Top car not on the soft compound tyres is Ben Driscoll, and amusingly does beat his teammate, the American in his home race, to that 10th position, despite Fingal being on those soft compound tyres for race 3. Perhaps just getting a bit unlucky with some of the traffic there for him. Then it's Liu, Solon, Jamil and Durante rounding out the points paying positions. Jonathan Mills just misses out on the points in race 3. Behind him it is Dylan Vastenberg, Preston Brennan and race 2 winner Lewis Francis rounds out the results of race 3. So that's it for our racing here at Watkins Glen. I do hope you all enjoyed it. That was some really exciting racing, I think, today. I certainly had lots of fun watching those races back, commentating over them as well. Really some good racing in that one, especially in races 2 and 3, where we saw the field really get mixed up at times. I hope you all will join us again next week when we head to Barcelona. Thank you very much for watching, and until then, goodbye.